like fall of '86. So when I first went up there, and like I said, when I first came home from that summer, that's when I got back into training. So that was that's pretty much how it started. And let me see, we met probably, I guess, what about the 4th and 5th day that I came in there, give or take. And that all started on, just imagine you're going out the door. Okay, man, how you doing? Yeah, you know, shake hands. All right, I'll see you later. Well, he doesn't let go of my hand. You know, like, oh my, oh, you know. And basically, you know, he's talking to me, so we're sitting there, you know, kind of chit-chatting. It's like, you know, he said, you know, I'd like to take you to a training session. Okay, no problem. Not that I knew a whole lot of, you know, knew some basic things about training, but, you know, figured, okay, well, listen, somebody else to kind of give me some, you know, some info, kind of guide me along, no problem. I think we trained together like maybe 2 or 3 times, and then after that, it was just on from there, you know, on from there.
Yeah. Okay, you remember what I said to you the first time we met? You were sitting on the floor doing pull downs, and I told you, I said, you don't know what you're doing.
Did you say that to me?
Yes, I did.
Yeah? Okay, all right. But yeah, like I said, I guess, like I said, we did a couple of, like maybe 2 or 3 sessions together, and from there it was like we were basically in it together, and you know, just kind of started from there. And like I said, that was like I think the first summer I came home from Penn State, and like I said, from then, so it was like kind of a, you know, kind of get used to it, because again, it is very comfortable, and you know, you're making gains, and like, you know, you're getting stronger and everything, so it's like everything's improving. My whole thing at the time was I was not interested in, like, you know, competing as far as bodybuilding. My whole thing was like getting stronger to possibly wrestle. You know, I was a wrestler at the time, so I figured, again, you know, the weight training would also help me as far as, you know, endurance and, you know, having to cut weight, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I figured, why not? Again, I think from probably just gains that I was making, and you know, just feeling good about myself as far as, you know, the improvements I was making, it just kind of took off from there. Again, my aspiration initially was not to be, you know, standing on stage in bikini trunks with millions of people looking at me. But yeah, like I said, it just kind of took off from there. And well, the first contest, that was what? That was 1990, yeah, 1990, yeah, at Trop World, Atlantic City. Never forget that, man. And again, it was a great place to, you know, great venue, you know. Get out there. I thought I would be, you know, nervous, but again, you know, with, you know, Rich, the preparation and practicing the posing, etc., it was second nature, man. You just kind of calm down as far as, you know, and usually for me, once I kind of get through, like, you know, the first 2 poses, you know, into the 3rd one, it's like, okay, now I'm rolling. And like I said, Trop World, Atlantic City, that was what, got the 2nd place? Second place, yeah, 2nd place.
And at that Trop World, Atlantic City, how long were you training at that point?
Let me see, that was probably 90, I guess probably about 3 years in. Yeah, give or take about 3 years. Yeah, give or take about 3 years.
You were already a wrestler, and you didn't mention that you went to Lincoln High School.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln High School. Initially, it was started at Penn State Ogons at the time. I mean, it's Penn State Abington now. Left Penn State Abington and went to the University of Iowa. Okay, was not a scholarship athlete, had aspirations of, you know, really going further with the wrestling, and that was truly an experience in its own. But again, I think a lot of really kind of started from the wrestling. And like, yeah, my whole goal was like to get out there and really just try to push myself and you know, be a better wrestler and, you know, be competitive, etc. You know, and But again, like I said, I think the bug, I guess, if I could call it that, kind of hit me again from being around, you know, folk like Rich who were, you know, in the bodybuilding and being around other bodybuilders, you know, and it was like, I think it just kind of really kind of took off from there. Also too, you have to understand with me really kind of being, my buddies, actually a couple of my frat brothers who really kind of got me back into training again, because I had stopped training. I wasn't wrestling, you know, I'd stopped, you know, kind of, you know, put it off to the side. So I wasn't training either. I was just kind of, you know, just doing nothing, you know, really for the most part. And they kind of got me back into training again. Like I said, and that's when, like I said, from that time until that summer when I came home from Penn State, when I went to Rivers, that's when I met Rich. But I mean, the first time I went in there, man, and you know, they kind of took me through a regimen. I was like, oh my goodness, man, I was so weak. I was really disappointed in myself, and just kind of made up my mind. I was like, well, you're not going to have to worry about this again, because I'm going to really, you know, put myself into this and get myself stronger, and you know, we're not going to have, oh yeah, well, Paul, let me take this off you here, you know, or something like that. No, we're not going to go through that again. But yeah, like I said, it really just kind of started from that there. And like I said, came home that summer, met Rich. And like I said, probably, with that conversation, that conversation I had with you initially was probably about maybe what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, you know? And who would have thought that would have been a situation of, you know, we wound up, you know, going, you know, all over the U.S. to compete. And overseas to Europe. So yeah, it was.
What was the gym that you all were training in at that time?
That was Rivers. Rivers Gym. Initially, when Rivers was on Germantown Avenue. It was right across the street from Germantown High School at the time. You know, when I first started going in there. And it's funny you asked that, because one of the points I was going to make earlier about being at Penn State. I mean, you know, of course, if you ever been to Happy Valley, you know, well, they ain't a whole lot of black folk up in Happy Valley. So, you know, again, I'm used to kind of being around, you know, white people, you know, and the gym that I was going to was basically like, you know, it was a school facility, and again, like I said, for the most part, I mean, you had, you know, some brothers who were going in there, but for the most part, again, like I said, you were basically around, you know, white people. Coming to Rivers, you know, in the heart of Germantown, across the street from Germantown High School, you know, it's like, oh. It was, and again, versus where I came from, what I was used to, the facility at school was big. Rivers was very small. So basically, just kind of imagine like the space that we're in right now, okay? And this is a gym. Again, it's like, and listen, you're looking at some of these cats, man, and again, it's wild, man, because really, looking at a lot of these cats, man, it looked like Rose Gallery up in there, okay? It did. I mean, these dudes, they were some rough cut cats, man, but it seemed like, you know, like anybody new that comes into some place, of course, they're checking you out, they're looking at you. Of course, about the second or third day, you're like the furniture, you know. Hey man, how you doing? And really, in talking to some of those guys, I mean, they were funny guys, man. They were hilarious. But you know, like I said, it was just a huge transition from, again, Lily White at Penn State to, you know, Germantown. Ooh, okay, all right. But again, I mean, I think for what it's worth, wouldn't have changed that for anything. Wouldn't have changed it for anything. Because I mean, again, there was some really, I mean, as small as that gym was, and as crowded as it used to get sometimes, you never felt like you were really on top of anybody. It was just kind of, again, you were just, like I said, like the furniture. Okay, yeah, well, all right, yeah, you know, folk over here, folk over there, and it's like, you know, and everything just kind of went along according this way, man, you know.
And do me this favor too, before Doc starts asking you other things to elaborate on too. I want you to introduce yourself too. Tell us your name, and then tell us, because I didn't get that on here. So that.
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to introduce. Just tell us your name and then tell us how long you've been bodybuilding.
Man.
You take your time with it.
1, 2, no.
People used to say, "I'm not a bodybuilder."
Right.
That's a famous line. Burn me up.
And and for the most part, I guess I never really, I didn't really start taking myself serious as a bodybuilder till, much later on. Rich, you gotta understand that. But I don't have to tell my age or anything, do I?
Nah, it's okay. Yeah.
All right. My name is Paul Daniels. Basically, born in. We say, brother? What do you?
Hey.
Oh, you told me. Paul A. Daniels. Again, Paul Anthony Daniels is my full name, and basically born and raised in Philly. Grew up in West Oak Lane. And now living in South Jersey, in Paulsboro to be exact. But always have where you're from, you always kind of got heartstrings for that area. So that's always a beautiful thing. But yeah, like I said, back to we were talking about the gym, the initial Riffridge gym we met at. Like I said, man, it was that was basically a storefront. It was a storefront. Yeah, storefront. Two storefronts. And again, as small as the place was, man, it just never, you just kind of had your little space and you did your thing, and that was it. That was it, man. That was it.
No air conditioning?
No AC. So sometimes, but again, it was like, again, you get used to it. It's hot and sweaty up in there, but again, just like anything, as far as the weather, you get used to it. You get used to it.